Right, so welcome back to the studio, welcome to another video, and today I am wearing the new Last merch, which is available below the description, more on that later, but on a completely unrelated note, today we're going to be talking about Chris Ramsay. Chris Ramsay, of course, is a very popular magician, YouTuber, puzzle solver here on the tubes. And I mean, if you don't know who Chris Ramsay is and you're watching this channel, that is quite impressive on its own. So today, we're not really going to focus too much on his YouTube channel, to be honest, because Chris Ramsay has recently been on a different endeavour. A TV show called Big Trick Energy. I'm sure you will have seen it advertised because there has been a lot of advertising for this show and generally a lot of hype from the makers, TruTV. And so today I thought I would watch the first episode of Big Trick Energy and see what the hype is all about. First of all, want to preface this by saying that I am a fan of Chris Ramsay and Eric and Alex and Wes. I like them all. I have a feeling going into this, just as a sort of prediction, that Chris Ramsay is really going to be the main character of this show, and I use the word character very loosely, obviously, because this is an unscripted show about magic and pranks and comedy, from what I can gather from the trailer. So I am now going to watch the first episode of Big Trick Energy, and I'll catch you after that. Okay, so I've just finished watching Big Trick Energy, and okay, I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, straight off the bat, I've got to say, I am actually really surprised. I was a bit worried, because sometimes what happens when YouTubers transfer from the world of YouTube, where they are fully in control of their content, to then go over to TV, sometimes that jump doesn't quite happen, and whether it's the fault of the TV makers or the YouTuber, I don't know, I think it varies. But sometimes there's a mismatch, and they sort of get it a bit wrong. And that was what I was worried about going into this. But I must say that they've pretty much nailed the style of Chris Ramsay's sort of magic and the dynamic of their group, I would say. So, I've made some notes as I was watching it, and I want to take you through some of the things that I pointed out. First things first, I thought the start of the show was really, really powerful, and it set the tone for the rest of it really, really well. There's like 4 porter cabins, they each go in one, and then a car crushes 3 of them, and they appear in one, sort of stumbling out. And it sets the tone of it. You know instantly that this isn't going to be a serious magic show, that there's just 4 guys goofing around, and that is really what the show is 4 guys goofing around. So after that intro, when the show properly starts, I think you do understand that Chris is the leader, but it doesn't ever feel like the others are sidelined at all. It doesn't feel like they're just the sidemen to him being front and center, you know, in the spotlight. I think they each get their turn at doing something. Like in this episode, they each have a trick where they are the main person doing it. And yes, Chris Ramsay does have more attention on him, but I think that's only fair, and I think narratively, not just because he is the most popular, but I think narratively it works to have one of them be sort of the most memorable one and the person leading the way. I think without that, the show could kind of get a little bit lost. So that was good. I thought the dynamic and those 4 were very, very good. So it's Chris Ramsay that does the first trick in the show, of course, after that porter cabin intro, and it's a bit of a weird trick. I don't think the trick itself is actually that good, because essentially a named card appears on the backboard of a basketball court, which is a good trick, but I mean, there was a lot of time where no one was looking at the backboard, so someone could have just stuck it there, and I'm sure that's what happened. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird trick, but the presentation was fantastic, like seriously really good. Stellar performance from Chris Ramsay, it was really, really funny, and it gets the show off to a really good start. So that first trick, I was impressed already, and I was thinking, wow, okay, this is going to be pretty good if it maintains this level. And I think there were a few dips, but we'll talk about those later. So the second trick of the show was Chris Ramsay again, which I don't really know how I feel about that. I feel like they should have had someone else go second just to sort of break it up a bit, but it was him turning water into beer, and it was a really visual trick, really, really fooling. The only thing I would say is that it was a little bit awkward, and unintentionally so as well. It wasn't like comedic awkward, it was just something a little bit off, which I couldn't quite put my finger on.
This has been great, guys.
And what was interesting that followed that was the sort of vlog sections that they throw into the show, where it's just the 4 of them mucking around. They're not really doing magic, there's no real point to those little bits, They're only about 30 seconds long, but the sort of handheld shots that they use I think is really, really interesting because they're clearly trying to emulate that sort of YouTube formula, you know, from Chris Ramsay's vlogs where he's got those 3 guys with him. You know, that's what they're trying to copy. They know what's popular, they know what works, and I think it's really good that the producers of the show have tried to copy what works from Chris's online content and use it in TV, because they know ultimately that the people watching this are going to be fans of Chris's content. So that was probably a very good decision on their part. The next thing was, oh yeah, Eric doing the car wash straitjacket escape. This was really well edited. Like seriously, the editing was on point. There was such a good flow, really good tension, lots of different camera angles, but they used them really well, and you can tell there was a high production value on this segment. The only complaint I have is about the laughing. Like, they were laughing a lot. I understand why they're doing it, but for me it was just too cringy because it started to sound like this is just fake laughter. Another segment they do is called Shock Collar Magic, where they wear a shock collar, they have to go and perform magic for strangers, while the other 3 are off to the side, pressing the buzzer and shocking them while they're trying to perform. And this fully felt like it was taken out of the show Impractical Jokers. Which is not a coincidence because the people that make Big Trick Energy, TruTV, also make Impractical Jokers. So it's clear with a show as popular as Impractical Jokers was, or still is, that they'll want to take elements of that and apply it to this magic show. They want this to be Impractical Jokers, but with magicians. And I'm not going to go through all the segments here, but they all felt very well chosen. All of the segments, all of the magic tricks all felt really, really well placed. The show overall had a good pace, it moved from one thing to another really, really well and really quickly. It didn't feel crammed, and it didn't feel like they were sort of trying to spread, you know, very little material over half an hour or whatever it was, 25 minutes. Yeah, it felt very unscripted and very natural. And even if it was scripted, it didn't feel like that, although I'm sure there wasn't a script. I think it'll be interesting with future episodes to see how the show sort of develops. Will I be watching any more episodes of Big Trick Energy? Probably not, unfortunately. I think I've sort of seen it now. I get what the show does. I don't think I'll be investing much more time into watching it. I might pop back and watch another episode if it's on YouTube. But overall, I think I'll just be sticking to Chris Ramsay on his YouTube channel, doing his stuff and, you know, the content that he is fully in control of. And that is something that you sort of see quite a lot when YouTubers jump from YouTube to TV, is that they are no longer fully in control of the content, and sometimes TV producers will get it wrong. Now, I don't think that Big Trick Energy have got it wrong, and I think that overall it's a good show. I'd give it sort of 60%. But sometimes you do see that, like with Lily Singh, who was a YouTuber with millions of subscribers and millions of views doing comedy videos for a younger audience. She became a late night show host for some reason, and the show just didn't work. Like, everyone was just saying, it just doesn't work, this isn't for you. And obviously that hasn't happened with Big Trick Energy, but it is the prime example of, you know, TV producers mismatching who they're getting for the show and the content just not working. And also, I think it's important to point out the view count. When I was watching this video right now, Big Trick Energy, it has 5,000 views. I almost thought that was wrong. I thought I'd misread it. I thought it must be 50,000 or 500,000. This is Chris Ramsay in a magic show. Chris Ramsay with 4 million subscribers or whatever he's got, and he's in a TV show on TruTV that's gonna be the new Impractical Jokers for Magic, let's say, and the episode has got 5,000 views. Now, I don't care about view count. Of course I don't. But TruTV do. TruTV have invested a lot of money, a lot of time and effort into this show, with probably a lot of people on the production team and a lot of advertising. You know, there's been billboards around cities for this, and a full episode is available for free on YouTube, and it gets 5,000 views in a day. And suggested next to this episode of Big Trick Energy were clips from the same channel for Impractical Jokers that had more than 10 million views. Is that not a worry for Big Trick Energy? Is that not a worry for TruTV? I don't know, I just find it so strange. Maybe I'm completely wrong and maybe it will be a massive success. And if so, this video will age very, very poorly. But from that initial episode, which normally first episodes do much better than the rest, it's not looking great. So there we go. Those are my thoughts on Big Trick Energy. Overall, a really solid show for what it's trying to be. And it's just a shame that it's not really being seen by anyone. So there we have it, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to click the thumbs up button down below and subscribe if you are new and you got this far in the video. I think you might like my channel. Last merch is in the description. It's also below the video and on my channel's store tab. There's a new little thing on the channel where you can pick this merch up. There's a load of other designs and yeah, I think that's everything. So I will see you very soon for more videos. Until then, stay safe.